Good evening, listeners. We now bring you an interview with Manoj, recipient of Padma Shri Award for his contributions towards literature and education. The interviewer is Dr. P. Raja.
Pondihcerry, just a speck on the map of India, we are surprised to note, continues to be the home of rare yogis, scholars, writers, and intellectuals. While history books tell us of Agastya and his ashram here, our grandparents and parents have given us eyewitness reports of the darshans they had of Shri Aurobindo and the mother, Siddhananda Swamigal and Kambali Swami. Our beloved teachers were elated and excited whenever they reminisced about Subramanya Bharati and Bharati Dasan, whom they had the privilege of seeing in flesh and blood, when the two immortal poets walked hand in hand on the promenade of our seashore. Sahitya Academy Award winners Prapanjan and K. Rajanarayanan are a few people that Pondihcerry looks up to. But today, Pondicherrians can puff up their chests in pride for their comrade, Professor Manoj, brought glory to their place by bagging the much coveted and the most prestigious Padma Shri Award. The first Pondicherrian and perhaps the first writer in the whole of Tamil Nadu to be honored with the Padma Award, Professor Manoj is on the English faculty of Shri Aurobindo International Center of Education, Pondihcerry. First and foremost a poet, Professor Manoj is an internationally renowned short story writer, novelist, essayist, book critic, columnist, editor, biographer of Shri Aurobindo, researcher, and also an enchanting teller of tales for children. A bilingual writer, he wields his pen both in his mother tongue, Oriya, and his chosen tongue, English, with equal ease. No wonder he has published about 40 books in Oriya and nearly the same number of books in English. In fact, we need a computer to keep track of his writings, for he started his writing career when he was barely 14, and at 15 he had his first book published. How old is Professor Manoj? The listeners may be tempted to ask. Well, he is 66 years young and delightfully breathes the air of Pondihcerry ever since he joined the Shri Aurobindo ashram when he was on the wrong side of 20. His works are internationally acclaimed, published in noted magazines and anthologies in the West, gathered between covers by eminent publishers, and praised by distinguished writers like Graham Greene and H.R.F. Keating. Recognized as an able interpreter of Indian literature and culture, he is an optimist who believes in a transformed future of mankind, and his writings and talks exude this faith. He is right now in our studios to share his feelings with you, our listeners. Professor Manoj, you are a rare writer to receive the Orissa Sahitya Academy Award twice. You are also a recipient of the Central Sahitya Academy Award. Orissa, the place of your birth, honored itself by giving you both its highest awards for creative writing, the Sarla Award and the Sahitya Bharati Award. And in 1999, you received the Vapasi Award for English, along with the present Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Kalaignar Karunanidhi, who received it for Tamil. And now, Padma Shri Award. Can you share with us your feelings about these awards?
Thank you for the question. Now, any writer who receives awards, he will always say that, well, I did not look forward to any award, it just came. It is a fact with me. I have always thought about the founding fathers of Indian literature, Vyasa, Valmiki, Thiruvalluvar. What awards did they receive? They gave us what they could from the highest peaks of their genius. What award did Shri Aurobindo receive? Certainly, awards could not have inspired to make them write what they have written. It was a kind of divine genius. I do not have any claim to come anywhere to the frontiers of this genius, but I have also always written out of a spontaneous feeling. So far as creative writing is concerned, it is, something I had to write. I took it for granted that writing is one of the natural functions of my life from my childhood. So far as reflective writings, newspaper columns are concerned, I write it with a social commitment. When awards come, I can certainly say that I am happy, but happiness is a relative term. I just feel sure that it is being recognized by some people. That is the only satisfaction I get out of it.
Filmmakers, it is said, are of two types. One makes commercially successful movies for filling up their coffers. The other makes art movies to fill up their reception halls with awards. What is said of filmmakers is true of writers too. What do you write for?
As I told you, that writing for me has been one of my very normal functions in life. And certainly, when I write with a social commitment, so far as my newspaper columns are concerned, there is no question of expecting any kind of commercial gain out of them. It is a commitment, social commitment, because I am a citizen of the society. So far as creative writing is concerned, as you know, flowers bloom on their own. Some flowers are sold in the market. They earn money. And some flowers go to the deities. They go to the divinities. So far as my creative writing is concerned, apart from my basic inspiration, which I believe comes from Providence, I offer them to my heritage. I offer them to Indian literary tradition, to the people of India who deserve much better writing because they have been lucky to be fed by great geniuses. The Indian literary tradition is unique in the world. There hasn't been a single tradition unbroken from the Vedas till our modern times, as in India. So I write because I must write. And when awards come, or when commercially I get something gross in terms of physical benefit, that's welcome, that's all.
Years ago, when I interviewed you for the British Council Bulletin Literature Alive on your bilingual activity, you said that you thought in the language of silence before you decided to transcribe your thoughts to paper. Will you please explain your thought process?
Yes, it is a very significant question. You see, before one articulates anything which can be called a piece of worthy literature, certainly there is an urge for expression within, and that urge does not have a language. It comes in silence, and articulation follows. The language in which one has to write, the formulation of concrete ideas take place in that language, but behind that there is the moment of silence. This applies to creative writing alone. To poetry, definitely nobody can write poetry unless it has come from a sublime plane where there is no language but only silence. And so far as fiction is concerned, substantially it is true also in regard to true fiction, really inspired stories or novels. But so far as reflective writing is concerned, one has to think and think very clearly and put them at the level of logic, argument, and social credibility. So that is that.
Bilingual writers are only a handful. How would you account for this?
Well, I believe it is a lack of our literary organization in India. As in some of the advanced countries, they have trained translators. We do not have translators in India. So what happens if somebody wants to write beyond his own mother tongue? The only language he can take recourse to is English. And the two idioms are quite different. I mean, we can just translate into English, but that does not become a part of literature. So that is where I believe that every language has a soul of its own. And once one has a kind of rapport with the soul of that language, the language lends itself to be used by the writer. And probably many people have not tried that. Many people have not tried to submit themselves to that kind of discipline. I did it out of a provocation. I was writing in my mother tongue Oriya, but probably I had once told you earlier that someday someone brought to my notice a piece of writing which was acknowledged abroad as the authentic Indian village scene. But I found it to be fake. I found it to be a kind of injustice being done to the rural India. And that provoked me to write in English, because I knew that born and brought up in a village at a very vulnerable age, I can present an authentic atmosphere of the rural folks, rural parts of India. And that is how I started writing in English, and since it was accepted by the people, I have been writing.
What led you to Pondihcerry?
Well, certainly the presence of Shri Aurobindo and the mother, a dose of the mother, that gave me some experience which inspired me to stay on here. And 38 years now I have stayed in Pondihcerry, and I have no regrets. I am grateful to the soil of Pondihcerry. It has sheltered me.
And what sustains your interest in Pondihcerry?
I love Pondihcerry. Well, when I came 38 years ago, Pondihcerry was a sleepy little town, and people used to come. I was told that two kinds of spirit bring people here: the physical gross spirit liquor, and the other spirit is the spiritual spirit. But times have changed, of course. Now Pondihcerry is a very important place. It has developed incredibly fast, and that is why people come for many different reasons. But I believe Pondihcerry has become overcrowded, and the authorities would do something to manage and dilute this kind of a little bit of overgrowth of Pondihcerry. But that apart, there is an inner Pondihcerry. There is an external Pondihcerry. There is an internal Pondihcerry. The inner Pondihcerry is something which is unique. The Pondihcerry of Agastya and Shri Aurobindo and the mother. Once you have a rapport, once you have got a link with that inner Pondihcerry, you know that you are practically in heavens. And I believe I have got some touch with that inner Pondihcerry. But outwardly also, Pondihcerry people are civilized. Pondihcerry people are cultured. And I love even the average Pondihcerryan. And it has got an atmosphere of its own, which is definitely unique.
Thank you, Professor Manoj Das, for sparing a few of your precious minutes and coming out to our studios and enlightening our listeners in certain unknown aspects of your life. We wish you many more delightful books and financially sound awards.
Thank you very much for a good deal.
Yeah,